Why should you watch this video? Because you love storytelling. This is a cinematic audiobook, a book which I wrote with my wife in 2018. It was made before we started making movies, before we moved from Russia to LA so I can pursue my director's career. Now I don't have money for actors and production, but I have passion for telling stories, and I will share with you this sci-fi story which became a foundation for my thesis film. Eventually I will share my film as well. This video was made with improvised tools. Enjoy! It was an ordinary house on Swan Street, which was in the suburbs of Louisiana. The owner of the house was an 89-year-old man, Chase Kramer, who used to live alone. He was never the life and soul of the party, but he had several ex-colleagues with whom sometimes he went to a bar. But most of the time he spent at home in front of the TV. He was fond of late-night shows, sitcoms, and different series. Only in front of the TV did he feel comfortable, and he did not want, on any condition, to leave his comfort zone. Sometimes he broke the habit of watching TV, but only when there were no shows broadcast, which Chase loved. The garage was that savior from wearing out the seat of his trousers in front of the TV. There were a lot of stuff in Chase's garage, because he used to be a handyman. At least he used to like it, but watching late night shows was not as hard as working in the garage, so he chose the first option. Also, thoughts about the forthcoming death were disturbing him, and only the TV set could make those thoughts go away. Life was coming to an end, as if it was a boring play and Chase was an impatient viewer which wanted to get out of the theater and go home. However, Chase used to be a different person, a person which wanted to make the world a better place. Chase Kramer used to work as an engineer for NASA, and he chose that work because he liked constructing spaceships. He was very good at it, and he wanted to have a space adventure. Throughout life, Chase was a simple man with simple needs, but in his soul and mind he was an unspeakable creator. He had many unpublished novels and lyrics in his garage, but he was too shy even to bring them to a publisher. Chase was a dreamer, and by his 89 years, he kept his hopes up that he could be taken somewhere in space. Sometimes he wanted badly to get out of planet Earth as far as possible, but after such thoughts he calmed down himself and got back to his daily routine. Of course, now he thought that the idea itself was ridiculous. The only adventure which he could have accomplished was the path from his living room to the bathroom. So the only thing that Chase Kramer could do, except watching TV, was to repair his old Chevrolet. He did it just to pay a last respects to the old days, when he could have done something that could be worth, not in the equivalent of money, but for the society. You know, something that could create a better world. Well, it could have been created, maybe it will, but without me, thought Chase Kramer when he was heading to the garage. His old Chevrolet needed service, more and more often, and this morning was not an exception. Chase took a set of screwdrivers from the attic and went to the garage to repair minor damages of his car. All his neighbors disappeared after repeating hurricanes, so in the suburbs he was alone. The weather was sunny, but he saw that the dark gray clouds were coming. Rain was impending. While Chase was heading to the garage, he heard strange noises coming from his backyard. His backyard was shining with purple lightning, and the noise was sounding as if ice was cracking. Chase was in front of the garage door when he heard the noise. The first thing that he thought was that the lightning struck the tree, which had been standing in the backyard for as long as he could remember. Chase was barely walking to the glass backyard door. It took him a while to get to the door. His hands were shaking and sweating, and then he opened the glass door. As Chase's age, he did not see very well, so he opened the glass door to find out what was going on in his backyard. He saw purple lightning, and it was all around his backyard. He had never seen something like this before. Chase was shocked, and then he saw someone appearing through the lightning. The purple lightning was fading away, and he saw someone's back. After that, he heard something fall on the floor. It appeared to be the instruments that he was holding all that time. Obviously, he was noticed. A young lady was swinging around. Her hair was lavender colored. She wore a purple neon dress and rainbow slip-ons. Chase saw that she put something round in her pocket. On her left wrist, there was a bracelet on which several lights stopped working. He saw no evidence of her coming, neither a car nor cab arriving at his house. She came straight to him and made Chase a little bit afraid of such an unexpected visit. Chase had no relatives because his first love was killed, and since that time he could not love anyone as much as he used to love his wife. They have never had kids, and his wife Josie has never told him about her relatives except her parents. He had already retired from his job 20 years ago, and he did not know any young ladies from there also. This situation made Chase nervous, but he tried not to show it. That girl was extraordinary for an average Earth woman. Chase realized that she was taller than Earth women. She had an intangible aura, which could not be seen but could be felt immediately. Chase could feel it precisely. "Chase Kramer?" asked the girl. Chase was still staring at the stranger, and he still could not believe that this was happening in real life. The eyes of the girl were dark purple, and they made Chase feel uncomfortable. "Are you Chase Kramer?" she repeated the question. Chase came around at the end, but he was still staring at the girl. "Yes," whispered Chase. Then he cleared his throat and said loudly, "Yes, I am Chase Kramer." "Very nice," said the girl. It was obvious that she is getting tired of such short conversation, and then she continued, "I have to talk to you, and I hope you've got vanilla Coke because it was a long trip." After these words, she headed to Chase's house. "By the way, I'm Stella," heard Chase when she had already entered his house. While Chase was heading to the living room, which took him much more time than Stella, he had only one thought. "I must be dreaming. I'm just sleepy on the sofa to which I'm heading right now." At the same time, Stella helped herself on the kitchen, and besides Coke, she made herself a sandwich with turkey. She turned around and nodded to Chase, which meant, "Do you want something?" Chase nodded several times. He didn't want to eat right now. Above all things, he wanted to know, such as who is making a sandwich in his kitchen right now, and what does she want? Could she be his daughter? Probably not. Chase just watched too much old Latin American series. Finally, Chase reached the sofa and sat down. Stella sat in the armchair which was standing next to the sofa. She had already finished her sandwich, and now she was drinking a can of soda from the straw. "As I see, you're living alone," said Stella, although it sounded like a question. Yes, I have almost nothing left that can hold me in life," said Chase. "But you have left not a small contribution in the science world. You have played a big part in Mars colonization with NASA, and you are extremely valuable in general among other among other people," said Stella. "How could you know it? I'm an ordinary man, and no one need me anymore. My time has passed." Chase made a pause. "For your information, the Mars colonization project was a failure, which was one of the multiple reasons for my retirement." "I don't think that your time has passed, Chase. And for your information, you were the only one who headed to the right direction in the colonization program. Unfortunately, your project oversaw the narrow-minded directorship, but I hope for you it was just the beginning," said Stella. "Are you kidding me, young lady? I'm standing at the death's door already. I don't know what you want from me and what do you expect me to do, but Chase heavily coughed. "I'm not capable of doing this. It was a pleasure for me to have a guest in my house, which is a very rare event anyway, but I'm sure I'm not the Chase Kramer which you are looking for." "No, you are Chase Kramer, and I need your help. According to my rigorous observation of your life period, I concluded that you would be very helpful in my prospective missions, and you cannot say no," said Stella. Chase started to laugh. His modest laugh turned into a cough. "It is very arrogant to say that I cannot say no. I have a lot of questions to you. For example, did you follow me? Or how can you come up with the conclusion that I could be helpful? Why do you think that I'm going to help you in the first place? And finally, is it a joke? I'm not an outstanding person, and whatever you want to suggest to me, I'm not the right one," said Chase. "Of course I knew that you will not believe me at the first time, but what will you lose? You have no business here, and still you have two options. Option number one, you're staying in your bungalow, and you're going to live the last boring days of your life. And option number two, you can try to save lots of different organisms and cultures all around countless galaxies," said Stella, and then she was looking at him right into the eye. Stella's eyes were in motion all the time. Chase thought that they had their own life. He didn't realize that Stella was sitting with her arms crossed, waiting for Chase to respond. By that time, Mr. Kramer thought that he is becoming mad. He could not just believe that this awkward, impudent girl is traveling between galaxies and saving different cultures as she said. It could not be possible at all. Chase imagined heroes differently. They were smart and well prepared physically and morally for different kinds of severities. But when the heroes are going to be an old man and a skinny girl with lavender hair, which looks like a 17-year-old teenager which is sniffing glue on the parking lot or doing something much serious than that, there is no way that this duo will succeed in accomplishing any mission or missions, as this girl said. Chase was writing several novels and he knew what kind of characters have chances to win, and he clearly realized that they are not those characters. For 89 years, Chase saw different TV shows and he knew that heroes should be at least capable of defending themselves. He looked at her and then he looked at his hands and stomach and realized that they were far from being real heroes. Lots of different organisms? Yeah, cultures. But you know what, young lady? I think you are pranking me. Moreover, I don't think that there are any organisms and any cultures out there. He pointed in the sky. Because if there was somebody, we would have known about them by that time, said Chase. If you don't know something, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, said Stella impartially. Maybe. Well, you did not expect me to believe you at first, so everything turns to be like you wanted, said Chase patiently. He started to be annoyed by Stella. Moreover, I can't imagine who could ask someone like me to help. Don't you see, young lady who's sitting in front of you? What are you talking about? Asked Stella. Chase was waving his hands up and down, showing his body. That was a prank. She's playing fool with him. Like she doesn't see that the pensioner is sitting right in front of her. Most likely his friends with whom he sometimes went to a bar pranked him. They probably took offense, because the last several times he refused to go with them to the bar. They took that prank seriously. That girl made great makeup, especially on her eyes. I will ask her after how did she do this. That you are old? I can handle this, said Stella. Chase exhaled heavily. That was the worst prank I have ever experienced, but I have some things to do if you excuse me. He could not explain to himself why he should not go. There wasn't no argument there. Maybe he just wanted to think about this alone. He was trying to stand up, but Stella was first. Look, Chase, if you are afraid of the unknown, that does not mean that you should connive the fear. Stella said it very gently, and then she went out to the backyard. Chase was still sitting in the dining room thinking about the answer. He could not say how much time he spent just thinking what choice he should make, and when he finally came up with the answer, he went to the glass door leading to the backyard. He opened the glass door and his eyes started to drip. It was a tough decision, but he realized that it would be a good thing for him. He inhaled deeply, opened his eyes, and he did not see the girl. He shouted several times her name, but the backyard was empty. He was standing there for 20 minutes in the heavy rain, but nothing had happened. The girl was gone.